evening! Horror and chaos be to you in the name of Runie Ruse. Now lunatics welcome one another as I shall welcome you. Hi! So, the last video I did of this game, I just showed you a straight through playthrough, but I'm gonna switch back to what I believe, if I remember correctly, I had started doing towards the end of when I was originally playing this game and uploading the VODs for you guys. I mean, yeah, I guess it's still a VOD. The Let's Play. And I was uploading the Let's Play for you guys, which is I'm only gonna splice together the new things that I discover. So this video will be a little bit different than the last one, but I think that I've cut up and edited just the parts that will be exciting, that I learned something new for you guys to see. So hopefully you enjoy that just as much. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Yay! Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. And I don't think I've ever been in here. Oh. 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 I got the compass. Ooh, I got a metal detector. Okay, I got the secret garden key. I got a coin. Does that count as one of the items? I got a coupon book. I'm not getting the things that I want, but that's okay. You know what I want, right? I want the broken lever. But, okay. Whatever, I guess. Okay, so this is the first time I've been in here, so I ought to look around a little bit. I think that was... Oh yeah, she's got the moon pendant again. The music in this game is so nice. Oh, I can look at this. Oh, this has gotta be a clue somewhere. Right? Oh, is this the brothers, I guess? So this might be my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and my great-uncle? I kind of I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forget what the relations are. It's been a while since I played. Is that meant to be a clue here? I mean, he's pointing this way, but part of me wonders if it's just telling you to look down there. But I did that like day one and was like, oh, there's something down there I can get into. However, this looks strange to me. But I could just be going crazy. It does like roughly look like some sort of symbol, right? I'm probably really looking into it. But I'm just going to make a note of it, because he's like pointing this way. But it might just be a clue to like look down there and see that there's somewhere you can go down there. Or maybe there is a clue down there that I've never picked up on. Perhaps. It is possible. Oh. Dear Miss Marigold, thank you so much for giving our editors the opportunity to consider your illustrated children's book, The Red Prince. Unfortunately, I regret that we have come to the conclusion that although the illustrations are wonderful, we do not think the material is a good fit with Ruffington's current catalog, and therefore will not be pursuing a partnership at this time. If you provided us with a return envelope, your manuscript will be returned to you. Otherwise, it has been recycled. Thank you again for thinking of us here at Ruffington, and do not be discouraged to submit any work you complete in the future. We wish you every success in finding a home for your book. Thomas Yanders, Editor, Ruffington Red Publishing. children's book department. Ah, and she knew she had to change the ending because it was too political. Have I rented the original? Because isn't there an original copy to be rented? And we can find the original ending, right? Have I done that yet? I can't remember. I feel like the meta detector was not doing its job there, because I almost missed that key and it was not going off. I should have counted the items I picked up. Regardless, I think that's all we have in here to do. Oh, how pretty. Alright. I mean, we've got a lot of items. I really should have done the trading post. I regret not doing the trading post. I do. Alright, let's take a quick detour in here and look for my 2 keys. Oh, nice. The key card. And a regular key. Ah. Denoted inverse. Oh boy, there is gonna be music involved to solve this puzzle, isn't there? Okay, so we had a lot of pieces of music. First words. First words. On the first words on the blank, blank, blank message. First words. Now, could that be... I'm getting paranoid now, and I wonder if I've had this thought before. Could that be the first words? Is it saying that the message is actually the first words on each page? Find among the... Okay. Okay, it was okay. That's how I figured out the white trees puzzle. Okay, that's what it was. Then I wonder what this is for. Denoted inverse. Cause that's gotta be telling me something, right? If that's some sort of... I mean, maybe that's just telling me to look at the verses. I don't know. If it's a clue to the solving of that puzzle, I don't quite understand it, but that's okay. All right, library time. What do I have? Oh, and I have the magnifying glass. Let's go. Yes. Yes, I'm so happy. I graciously gifted it. Have I already done this and I'm getting all excited for nothing? I feel like the last time I had it, I did not have a magnifying glass. And I can't remember exactly what it was that I wanted to look at, but I know there was things that I did. All he needed was to find a new clue. If he found a new clue, he'd know what to do. If he knew what to do, he'd likely tell you, for you are looking for a new clue, too. He had retraced his sketches and studied the files, reviewed all his cases and gone through the piles of evidence present and precedents evident, and retraced his steps as it stretched on for miles. Corner cases. So these are just rooms that would fit in the corner. Why is library and parlor not checked? Okay, wait, I can read these now. Suspect list. Well, I've got to write this down, don't I? Oh, you know what? I think I remember having a bunch of screenshots. But I think I've updated my computer since then, so I don't know. Or have I? I can't remember when I was playing this. Rose Bali, age 50. Richard Scott, age 12. Frond Mayford. That's a name I like. Frond Mayford. Age 32. Sandra Dillon. That's age 14. Bo Lee, age 16. It's gonna be funny if this is also a puzzle I've already figured out and I've just completely forgotten that I did it in the first place. Charles Riscal, age 12. And then Christoph Clark, age 25. Okay. Dead cases. Okay, yeah, okay. So these are rooms that go in the corner. These are rooms that are dead cases. Depart. He had looked high and low in all of the rooms. He had searched every corner in each of the tombs. In this particular case, he had checked every space. If he found a new clue, he'd know what to do. So I think this is telling you stuff to do in the tomb, right? Keep left in the tomb, and it's telling you that you can light these candles, I think, which I've never done, if I remember correctly. I don't think I've ever gotten to do that. And then it's telling you to pay attention to chess pieces on this board thing, which we did do, and to pull the things of the statues. So I think these are these are very many clues, right? He looked and he looked under beds and in nooks. He questioned the maids, he questioned the cooks. It was already over when he spoke to the chauffeur, who told him new clues were only found in books. 2 tenor fork. What does that mean? Does that mean anything? Apple, banana, orange. I guess that could mean something. That picture's a little creepy. That's a little creepy, ain't it? It's just a little bit creepy. Well, I'll write it down. Who knows? Apple. Banana. Orange. So tome after tome that the library loaned, and the books that he had thought he ought, and the books that he had and the books that he had that he already owned were searched from their covers all the way through. If he found a new clue, he'd know what to do. I've noticed something, that there's a direction on every page. So I need to go back and write all the directions. Tinder Cipher, Lunar renamed. Draft the sixes. Uncle hopefully I don't forget, but I'll go back and look at all the directions. He had changed all the letters and the lines that he found. He checked all the colors of the spines that were bound. He doubled the meaning of each seasonal greeting and found that the diction of each word was sound. Mary. Okay, this is yeah. These are more clues. Right. Yeah, because this is the direction is right. Draft the sixes, shifted extra, the fixed, D to D, X to E. I don't know what he's getting at with this, to be honest. LOR word, JOR name. What does that mean? LOR word, JOR name. Huh. And then this little symbol here looks like one of the things from the sigils, right? But I can't quite remember. So what is he doing here? Draft the sixes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I thought maybe every sixth letter. Draft the sixes. Shifted extras. The fixed. So he's looking at the D's and the X's. Why? This is still a capital D, a capital D. And the S is draft the sixes. DXS, DXS, XDS? I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Maybe it'll make sense to me later. He stayed up all night and studied the maps. He laid out the floor plans and measured the gaps. And if his directory was considered a trajectory, it was nothing short of a mental lapse. Yeah, this is telling you to hit those vases, which I already did. This one actually doesn't have a direction in it, and that might just mean that this was the end. We've hit our dead end. A man obsessed and cuckoo too, they would say as he would wander through. The best medicine is not yet evidence. If he found a new clue, he'd know what to do. Each, a sign hanging each. I also don't know what that means. Each stop? Why are the pages hard to turn? I should just use my keyboard. And having read this book so many times, having scoured over each of its cryptic lines, have you exhausted your search? Have you seen all the signs? Oh, here's this again. Major. Jor is the name. XYZ. Dead end. Major key. XYZ. ABC. I don't know if I've seen all the signs. I'm trying. I'm trying really hard. Or is there perhaps something new, something overlooked but now in view? Have you finally found it? Could it really be true? If it's a new clue, you know what to do. Okay, so this is true because it's handwritten. The suspect is major. The suspect is minor. Well, how could this be both? The suspect is a key. Is admin key. The suspect is admin key. Have I figured this out before? And I'm being, okay, I need to figure out who the suspect is. The suspect is minor. Okay, because here's the thing is I remember them saying that the red notes are lies unless they're handwritten. So the suspect is major, not minor. But then how do you, because blue notes, do we actually know anything about blue notes? I guess we don't know if blue notes are true or false necessarily. I think we've only gotten a note about red notes. I think it just said if you find a red note and it's not in handwriting, then it's a lie. So I think the suspect is major. I don't know what that means. There was a list of suspects, right? Rose Bali, age 50. I mean, when you say minor, I think like a kid. Oh wait, these are two different. Oh, that's minor, like a minor. And this is minor. So it is, the suspect is major, and maybe this is true, and is a minor. So that would definitely narrow it down. We've got Richard Scott, Sandra Dillon, Bo Lee, and Charles Riscal. So what we have to figure out is, what does this major mean? The suspect is major. The suspect is major. But where's lore? I think that's where they're really throwing me off. I don't see any lore. Where's lore? And I don't think that's referencing the shift cipher either. Lore. May. I mean, it's making me think Mayford. But that person is 32 and not a minor, so it can't be that. Bo Lee. Now here's what I'm thinking. Majorbolee. I'm thinking that this is referencing Bo Lee, just based on the fact that it has the same amount of letters. But can I prove that to myself? Like, does that make any sense? Major. I don't know. I feel like it's Bo Lee, but I don't feel like I've solved it in a satisfying way. And maybe that's not true. Maybe it's not even Bo Lee. Or maybe I did solve it the way you're intended to solve it. Admin not found. Okay, wait. Maybe you're supposed to... Admin not found. Okay. Bo... Okay, no, maybe I'm wrong. And it's not... Okay. Or maybe... I feel like it makes sense, though. I still feel like major to Bo Lee makes sense. But maybe I then have to translate Bo Lee into something else. Ah, this is so frustrating. I feel so stupid. You know what confuses me, though? Is here he has a purple book. And then here the purple book is this book. Uncle Aw. That's such a weird name. Uncle Aw. But it's got... I bet it's so simple. It's definitely a cipher. We're rearranging... Dead end is major key. I don't know. Okay, I mean, here he's just making anagram. That's the word, right? Anagrams. I'm really bad at anagrams. Uncle Aw. If this is the purple book, Uncle Aw. A new clue. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna end it. It's an anagram. It's an anagram. This is a new clue. The purple book is a new clue. I hate this. I hate this. I still don't understand what XYZ ABC is supposed to mean. This is an anagram. So the violet book is a new clue. That is a book that I can rent from the library. Tinder cipher. It's red. It's got to be the Red Prince. And it is, yeah. Okay, that's the Red Prince. So blue is that, oh, I don't know. I only figured out the red and the purple one because I had an idea of what they are. I'm telling you right now, I suck at anagrams. I'm not going to be able to tell what these are. But when I look at the list of books that I can rent, I'm sure I will figure it out. But that does mean, however, that I have this book right now. I have the violet book, page B, word Y. And I have no clue on earth. They said they're giving me clues, but I don't think they are. I have no clue. What in the heck? That means page B, word Y. The covers all the way is XYZABC. But what does page B, word Y mean? What does that mean? This is so frustrating. Page B, word Y. But I think it's frustrating because if I don't figure out what the heck this is, then when I rent all of these other books, which is hard to do because you can only do it like every 3 days, right? I guess every 2 days. Like I'd have to draft the library again tomorrow, rent a new book, and then come back the next day, draft it again to actually read that book. So it's going to be a slog to get all of these books. If I could look at them all side by side, then I could probably start figuring out, or at least, how do you say it? Like I could narrow down what it is, what it definitely isn't. I could rule out some possibilities of what this could possibly be trying to tell me by looking, like, for example, I did have that theory pretty early on that maybe B is 5 and Y is 2. So it means page 5, word 2. However, I don't think that actually gave me anything. 1, 2, wait, no, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be page 5? Oh, come on. And the word is 2. That doesn't even make sense. So that just can't be right. Well, I guess I can rule that out right now because it doesn't even make sense. This can't be page 5. It's page A? But then why does it say count? It literally says count. So I'm supposed to be counting the pages, right? Assume page count starts on title pages. Page B. B. What does that mean? Oh, what could that possibly mean? Page B. Word Y. Why? 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 That is the word. That is the word that my brain is screaming. Why? Why must I do this? 1. Maybe they don't count the picture ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then word 1 is he. No, I'm looking for word 2. Looked. That can't be right. Looked. I mean, I guess if it's part of a sentence, I guess it could be, I don't know. I give up. I'm frustrated. I feel at least a little less defeated that I figured out one thing. But honestly, not really. Not really. I don't really. I don't really feel better about it. I really don't, actually. Why does this book show up, huh? What did I do to do that? Well, I can't get the rotunda. Oh, but I can rotate 4 plans. Oh, that's gonna save my butt. 'Cause now I can actually keep drafting. Okay, let's go to the Dovecote. Oh, hi, little birds. I got a rock. Man, I had such a good time this session before this. Now I'm remembering why I kind of hate this game. Dear Mother, if you are reading this, that means Junie made it home safely. I imagine he's going to be quite tired after such a long flight, so make sure he gets some treats and rest. School is going well, though I do miss you terribly. Unfortunately, even though the dean gave me permission to keep my birds here on campus, I'm afraid it's getting a bit too cold for them as the semester marches on, so I've made the decision to send them all home before the winter months arrive. All that to say, expect some more letters soon. Dotingly, Mary. Dearest Mother, this should be the 5th letter you've received from me this month, though I know statistically it is very unlikely that every single member of my flock has found their way home. And please, please, don't tell me if they didn't arrive. It's going to be hard enough now that I am truly on my own. In other news, my classes have been engaging, and I am slowly making friends, so please ignore the dramatic despair of my previous letter. Things are indeed looking brighter, but I still maintain that 3 years is too long a time to be away from home. Herbert, thank you so much for your gift of the wedding doves, whom I, of course, recognized immediately. And yes, I got the hint, so here's your letter. I know it's long, long overdue. I don't know what this word is. The Mahue life suits me, I think. Not that I didn't love Mount Holly, of course, but after years of being confined in a tiny dormitory, the small place Daniel and I have picked out in Reddington feels more like a stately manor. Once we've finished unpacking and settling everything up, I'll insist on you making an exception to your reclusive lifestyle to come share a meal and admire our somewhat less impressive but much more personal view of the town. Thanks again for the card, Mary. We are returning east and should arrive on Tuesday. If coast is not clear, lower the SD to warn us. Oh, very interesting. Also, I feel like my magnifying glass disappeared at some point during that. Very pretty. Not a whole lot of doves, but there were some when I first came in. Weren't they? I saw a bird or two. Where'd they all go? They flew away. I scared them. No, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm trying to spread some feed for you. Why did I feel like my magnifying glass went away? Okay, there it is again. Maybe I like put it... Oh. On like a weird... The SD to warn us. Lower the... Who knows? Who knows? I'm a little burnt out right now. Oh, okay. Classroom. Have I ever gotten to this classroom? Grade 5. I do not think I've gotten to this room. Okay. They're doing art, I guess. Very, very cute. Art class. Yes, indeed. And what is this? Art prompt. Draw two things that share all but one letter of their name. Acorn and corn. Draw two things that share all but one letter of their name. What is this? Robot. Oh, Gregory, 5th grader, might be smarter than me because I don't. What is he doing? What's the cleverness here? Robot. Wait, scribbles. Draw two things that share all but one letter of their name. I have no clue. Absolutely no clue what the heck this is supposed to be. What the heck is this supposed to be? A robot. I mean, this is just scribbles. Yeah, it's gotta be a robot, right? Obot. Root. It's a root. Duh. Oh. I am at least as smart as a 5th grader. Robot and root. I do understand that. And what was this one? Oh, an F. 2. And tooth. Yeah, that's not quite right, is it? So I feel like this was just another clue to help you do these posters if you still hadn't figured it out. Oh, come on. Ooh. Spread these in each green room. Well, I have quite a lot of green rooms, so I'm gonna get a lot, aren't I? Wait, what did I just draft? That is the patio. I think that's what I needed. I'm guessing I need a shovel though. So I have the patio, but I do not have a shovel. Oh my gosh. Oh. Now I do. X. Oh my gosh. File cabinet key likely opens up a drawer somewhere in the estate. I know exactly where it does. In the archives. I've got to open that drawer in the archives. This isn't locked, is it? Oh my gosh. Okay, but Wait, is this one locked? Oh, the archives! The archives! The archives! Yes! 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 There's a drawer I can unlock. An upgrade disc and a birth certificate. This document attests that Mary Matthew Epson was born to Lady Clara Epson and Simon H. Sinclair in this hospital at 4:05 a.m. Tuesday, the 22nd day of January in the 6th era 1958. In witness whereof, East Reddington Hospital certifies that the information above is true, as verified by its duly authorized officer of the Finn Aries Registrar of Persons, Lily Rycian Rose, the doctor and registrar officer. And then, what I think is more interesting is it has an entire sigil on it. Actually, like scribbled on it. Doesn't it? It sure does. Very interesting. Well, that was exciting. I mean, I'm actually quite excited by that. Servants' quarters. I think I've been here before. Right, because I remember reading this about leaving the lake house. And I picked up the keys. Mr. Ruoda, Mrs. Babbage has told me that you will be overseeing network maintenance over the next few weeks while I will be gone, and I apologize in advance for the extra workload. I believe I will be back in Reddington by the middle of February, but even that is not a certainty. Either way, I do not anticipate there will be any major issues while I'm gone, as the difficulties we were having last month with the terminal connections seems to be resolved. If there is an emergency and you find yourself having to enter the central server site, I have set you up with a temporary admin key to allow you to access the network administrator controls. Admin key, the first 4 letters of your last name, followed by the first initial. The first and 5th character should be capitalized. If you have any questions, please let me know in the next few days before my departure, Randolph. And it says that it is the first 4 letters of your last name followed by an initial, and you capitalize the first and the 5th letter, so the beginning and the end. The problem is the name I thought looked the most likely was Bo Lee. And Bo Lee, I mean, there's not even 4 letters in that last name, so it doesn't seem like that could possibly be correct, does it? I feel like, I mean, even this, I feel like we might as well leave. Oh, so it was Bo Lee. It was Bo Lee. It was just misleading because it said the 1st and the 5th, but maybe that was only in regards to Ryota's name because he had a last name that was 4 long, whereas Lee's was only 3 long to begin with. Huh, well, I got in. Okay, this is, well, can you guys tell that I actually did not expect that to happen? Hold on, I need to take, I need a sip of my drink. I did not think that this was gonna work at all whatsoever. So just to reiterate how I figured this out is in a new clue, it points you towards a list of suspects. It lists those suspects' names and their ages. Then you see notes in one of the pictures that say that the suspect is a minor as in like minor age wise. And then it also says suspect is a major. All right. Then you had another clue that JOR equals name. Then you have another clue where you see the word major and it's split up MA space JOR. When I looked at the names of suspects, one of their names was Bo Lee. That was the only name that he was a minor, and then also it lined up with like MA JOR. We could make that BOLEE. At least it was the same amount of characters. But I wasn't sure if that was the right way to go about it or not. Then you find a note in the servants' quarters, I believe it is. And in that note, it tells a Mr. Ruoda that his admin passcode, because he's the current admin, is the first 3 letters of his last name, and then the first letter of his first name, and that the first and the 5th letters are capitalized. So the first 4 of his last name and the first of his first name. And now we've gotten here. I hope that makes sense. I wish I had better visuals. Okay, well, gosh, well we've got to get through here. Network settings. Terminal timeout settings. Okay. The timeout setting controls how long a computer The timeout setting controls how long a computer terminal stays connected to the network without disconnecting from the server. The default setting, immediate, requires a new connection each time the user attempts to log into the network. Oh, let's do 1 month. That's just gonna save me some time. That way we don't have to keep typing in our passwords. That's just a convenience thing, I would say, right? Electronic mail settings. Oh. The shelter mailbox. Huh. Why is it not letting me? What? Oh, that's weird. It's not letting me. I guess you have to do them one at a time. Okay. Do we want? I don't really know what they mean. Does that mean I'll get new emails if I turn these on? Yeah, because I think in the office is the only place you get emails. Is that true? So does that mean it's now worth it to me to get the shelter again? And then I need to look on those. Let's see, check connection offsite. Inbound, outbound connections, and electronic mail communications outside of the local network have been temporarily disabled. Ah, that would, okay. I see. That's so that I can't get emails from the outside world while I'm trying to figure this out, right? Well, I've already found the room and gotten my inheritance, but you know what I mean. I have, in fact. Okay. So that's network settings, user database. Ah. Oh, okay, so okay, this is an old one. His key is expired. Plus 3 additional delisted admin keys. So this is Anne Babbage. R. Moore. Admin. Let me just write this down. Who all has admin access? Because I think I want to say Thomas Kincaid because I'm crazy. Don't listen to me. Just don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Not even for a moment. Let me just write. Thomas is gonna be the last name. Okay, so Tom K and Moore R both have admin access. Very interesting. I know Anne Babbage. She has personnel access, so that makes sense. So I just need to remind myself of who Tom K and Moore are. Is there anything I can do with this? Oh! Moore R, lead system administrator, account created. Last login. Most drafted room laboratory, personnel notes. Lead lab technician for Cinca, setup estate terminals and Blackbridge network. Okay. Okay. So they'll tell me who this is right now. Assistant lab technician. Recent transfer from Cinca, former executive assistant to Herbert S. Sinclair, trusted with full admin privileges. Aha. Okay. So these are both scientists, I see. Now we know who this is. The house manager, author of all personnel notes, most drafted room, the office, that makes sense. And then this was the previous administrator. Most drafted room, servants' quarters, that makes sense. The Baron's valet for 20 years, substituting for Mr. Moore until we find a suitable assistant admin. Ah, okay. Okay. And so that makes sense when we found that note there. And then who is this? Oh, the former groundskeeper. Terminated March 1992 for suspicion of blackmail and not watering the plants. Yes, we've heard a lot about this groundskeeper, Reva. They do not like this person. Okay. Admin logs. Ooh, something from Mr. Moore. The last cables have finally been laid and the office terminal has been connected to the central network. Given the ever-changing nature of the rooms on the estate, we chose to install the server outside of the house to maintain connection stability at all times. A small cavern off of the eastern drive was selected for the server site. All remaining computer terminals on the estate are now connected to the network mainframe, and we will now begin testing remote access capabilities between them. I've also asked the Baron to come up with a name for the network. Okay. After some deliberation, our network has been named Blackbridge, a somewhat ominous name for the project given the legend from which the term derives, though very fitting considering we chose an actual cave to house the mainframe. I only hope that our servers do not suffer that same fate that befell those in the story. Okay, this has definitely got to mean something. And I know that there is a book, I think, from the library, right? Or from the bookstore, right? About the Blackbridge incident? Book, question mark? I think there is. I'm gonna need a lot of money to buy it, I think. I don't recall it being particularly cheap. But maybe I'm making all of this up and there's not even a book for that. But this is what this, like, network is called, is Blackbridge. So I feel like that might end up being a clue somewhere in that book, because I'm still looking for pieces for this cave to make everything work. Let's see. We're still going forward in time? Yes. Regular maintenance report fixed a connection error that was occurring between the office and security terminal. We have also added electronic mail capabilities to each terminal that can be accessed via the network. Okay, here's Miss, this is the lead, this is me. 3 new admin, well, not really me, but the one, Bo Lee, who I am impersonating to log on to this. 3 new admin keys have been added to the network's user database. Lieb? Oh my gosh, these are new names. Prove C. Now I wonder if I should try logging in under all of these, actually. And Haun Yu. Admin view access restricted to the following admin keys. Huh. Lee, we are planning something later this year and need to make sure communication on here is not being archived. Are there additional steps we can take to ensure privacy? Lee answers, already taken care of. We are now bypassing message archiving. Randolph? Oh ho ho ho. Shouldn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Randolph Moore. What were they doing? What, Lee? Bo Lee, what were you doing? Okay, good. No one else on the estate knows we're here, other than Mary, of course, who saw Lee on Tuesday, but Home has a plan to take care of her. What? If it must be done, it must be done. Just see to it that the body is not discovered. The last thing we need is for the Red Guard to be snooping around here. Wait, is Lee like a bad guy? Wait, this went in a direction I was not expecting. Holy moly. She won't be found, rest assured. Okay, because it's been a while, so my memory is murky, but I seem to recall having the impression that my mother left to another country, like, that she'd been involved in some, like, terrorism or something, political crimes, and that she had to flee to another country, right? But this isn't the Red Guard, because they're worried about the Red Guard showing up. So this is like a third party here. Let's disperse for now. I'll meet you all at the safe house in Reddington in 4 days. Then once the inquiry is over, we will proceed with our plans for the museum. So they were trying to get into the museum. I also would like to get into the museum, but not for nefarious reasons. Museum heist. Killed Mary? I wonder if Bo Lee was a classmate of hers. Have I seen his name in the classroom? Possibly. Resuming operations. Welcome back, Lee. I've been camping out of the old schoolhouse for the past month waiting for your return. It's spacious, quiet, and should prove to be an effective base of operations outside of the purview of the staff and the Baron. We should have an opening on the first day of September. Can we be ready by then? I don't see why not. Negotiations for transportation are in the final stages. If all goes well, we will have air passage to Nuance secured for that date. Okay, so I think September was when she disappeared. So September date. Bad guy's email. That's just how I'm going to denote it so I can remember. Passage to Nuance. Maybe I completely misunderstood what had happened in this game. I think Moore is planning a scheduled maintenance soon, so we should likely wrap things up here. I'd say it's time to scrub these logs. They might fall under some scrutiny in the near future. They're all delisted from the database. Temporary access to the mainframe in Blackbridge Grotto has been restored to perform routine maintenance. Temporary access to the mainframe in Blackbridge Grotto has been restored to oh, okay. So this is in the next year. Updated access privileges for the following. Archive access. Full access plus access to archived admin logs and deleted database entry. I need archive access. Okay, hold on. Let me just write that down. Need archive access. And wait, let me go back a bit because I want to see. So that was in 87. I forget what year it was that my mom went missing. That okay, but this was in year 87. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. RTA is down while we work on a solution to reported terminal connection failures. RTA is working again. Terminal connections tested and confirmed functional. To make for future testing easier, Added ability to access offline terminals through the RTA when Blackbridge is open. Okay, we have experienced that. Per request, one temporary admin key has been added to the network. Admin key is deactivated. Okay, yes, we know what was going on there. One new admin key has been added to the network. Yes, and then welcome to the team. So that was who they officially hired. Added new data management features to Blackbridge admin control. Updated the user database. Changing of the guard. So this is from Moore. Okay, that was from Thomas. This is back to Moore. In preparation for Simon's arrival, inbound and outbound messages, as well as off-site connections from outside the estate, have been disabled per instructions left by the Baron himself. Okay, yes, okay. Wow, this is kind of crazy. Data files. Import trophy data. Utilizing the Blackbridge system, you can import trophy data from other save files into the current profile. This is a convenient way to collect trophies in one file that might be impossible to get into a single profile. Oh. Okay, I don't have that, but that is cute to know that we can do that. Oh. Duplicate save data, clear save data, create a backup, restore from backup. Okay, I don't need to do any of that because I only have like one single playthrough. Okay, so... okay, hold on. I need to change something. Terminal timeout settings. We need to put it back to immediate. Because I want to try logging in as some of these other people. Admin key. So let's try Prov C. Okay, because it said it took all of them out. But I guess it didn't. Okay, but I can log in as Thomas still. Let's just see if this is all the same. Okay, those are the same. User database. 3 additional delisted admin keys. But I have those and it... Okay, so I guess they're delisted, but Leeb still works. Very interesting. Okay. And so I think this might all be the same because he has the same level. Oh, so I can see what he could see. He couldn't see any of these messages. As requested yesterday, new admin key created, though the requested name doesn't quite fit with our typical length formatting. That's what I noticed. I need archive access. We need to figure out somehow how to get archive access, for sure. Okay, hold on. So I think this is all going to be the same stuff. So let's log in again. And let's try, just in case. Okay, so we'll log in as Moore, because I feel like okay, I don't see any. Dang, does he have access to those? No, okay, so same thing here. Admin logs, so it's probably going to look very similar to him. Yes, okay, so all of the deleted logs. Okay. Data files. Okay, that's right. And then I don't need to do that. Okay, but this is very, very interesting to me. Okay, I just want to, why can I still log in as Lee? I feel like I'm remembering now something that Alzara had said to me at some point, which was that I wasn't alone. Is Lieb here right now? And yeah, I'm gonna call him Lieb from now on, probably. Is Lieb here? I wonder. Wow, this is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. All right. Wow. Well, that still didn't open this, of course. I need another one of these. But that does mean, perhaps, that this code is actually to something different that I still am yet to understand. You know? So, wow. I mean, that's just crazy. I can't believe I feel like this went in a different direction than I expected. I need to double check information again. Ah, that's crazy. Oh. And then log into network. Password is Swan Song. And then we should have access to emails here now, but I don't know if it's going to give us just access to all the emails or if it's going to give us new emails. No, I don't really remember what the emails were to begin with. Oh, I think these are new ones. I definitely think these are new ones. Randolph. Oh, okay, Randolph. That makes sense. This is one of the people who had Randolph Moore. Yeah. As I know you've been conducting temperature-related experiments this past week, I've tried my best to avoid accessing my frozen stock during your normal working hours. However, on Friday, I was making my famous black truffle pizza and had to visit the freezer for a few ingredients. I hope I didn't mess anything up. Chef de Camp. Okay. I think that's just like a hint. Oh, so here's more. Chef, please don't worry too much about freezer access. The experiments we're doing aren't very sensitive, and they are already accounting for normal variations due to expected use in staff traffic. However, surprisingly, we did see major temperature rise on Friday, which I believe may be related not to your freezer visit, but to the use of a furnace in close proximity. In the future, you should try to draft that a bit further away, as the temperature rise from drafting that room has a major effect on temperature in the house, and even more so in rooms in close proximity to it. Okay, yes, I feel like I had already figured that out. So either I have read these before, or I just figured that out on my own. Baron Sinclair. As we discussed in our meeting earlier this week, we will be sealing off the entrance to the Blackbridge server this week, as well as archiving all of our electronic mailboxes and locking access. I'm not sure just how tech-savvy we expect the Red Guard to be, but there's more than enough data on our servers that these extra precautions are, in my opinion, the very minimum measures that we should be considering given the likelihood of an investigation next month. August of 1987. So why would Sinclair? So they knew something would go down in September of 1987. See, this lines up with the ideas that I already had, which is that there was some sort of plan for Mary to leave the country, go into hiding. They knew that the Red Guard were coming, and I can't remember all the details, but it was something with her school friend who authored the book that got heavily edited or censored. I can't remember everything now, unfortunately. But yeah, something to do with all of that. So there was something going down. I suppose that maybe these other people, Prof C, Haun Yu, and Lieb, maybe had a tangential plan, and it just ended up overlapping in September. I mean, we can draft the exhibit room, so it does appear to me as if they have not managed to get into the exhibit hall, which is what they were emailing about. Like, they wanted to do, a museum heist of some sort, right? Very, very interesting. Lock it down. Lock it all down. Oh my gosh, that's so sketchy. That was... Okay, so that was just a few days later. Wow. Okay, so I don't think I've read these before. If I have, then... I'm just very silly. But I don't think that I have. Why don't we... Oh, because I can access... Okay, the shelter is actually... Let's do the shelter because... It doesn't really give me anything now that I've already opened the time lock safe in it. So let's just open it to read emails from there, because I feel like there might be some pretty crazy emails from the safe, right? No, I thought I did unlock emails to it, but... Oh wait, no, log into network. Yeah, here we go, Swan Song. Password accepted. Right. Okay, and now I look. Oh, I'm excited. No, sorry for the drinking noises. Okay. Electronic mail. Okay, so I think this is still from the library, I think. I mean, from the... I think this is still from the laboratory. Yes, I see that at the top. So I still have to actually go to those places too. Okay. I have to actually draft that room again to look at the emails in it. But still, this was fun. And it's just a reminder that I really want to do the furnace so bad. I want to do the furnace. I'll figure it out eventually, how to draft the furnace next to the freezer. One of these days. Since I have discovered this. Kirk Darren. That is... I have to go back to my notes. Oh, Kirk Darren. I'm not sure who that is. And then there's some from Babbage. Well, let's go this way. Mr. Darren, if you have any more of those red and blue memo sheets, the Baron has requested a handful of each for a new project he's working on in the clock tower. For my part, I can't understand for the life of me why you and the Baron continually insist on confounding my staff and every other person who stumbles upon one of your colored memos. I'm not confident confusion is the best security, but it's not my department, so I'll leave that up to you and the Baron. Okay, so we're gonna get stuff about the notes, huh? Mrs. Babbage, I'd like to address one potential security vulnerability of having an antechamber lever in the weight room. As the years have gone by, the Baron's frequency of working out in this room has gone from once in a red moon to as rare as a man without self-pity. As such, we find this room mostly relegated to guest use, and given that an antechamber lever is not only unsuited, but also poses a security risk, I advise we either remove or conceal it and install a secondary lever to control the south entrance. Is there a lever in the weight room that's just concealed? Dun dun dun! Interesting. Mr. Darren, sorry for the lagging reply. I am still learning how to use this machine. Thanks for bringing this issue to our attention. This was not something I had considered, but it does seem like a reasonable suggestion, and I will discuss it with the Baron during our next meeting. I know he has expressed interest in installing secondary access levers for both redundancy and convenience, so this may be the perfect excuse to allow him to execute those plans should he still wish to do so. Okay, so that also indicates to me that they did not get rid of it, rather made a secondary one. I think there is a lever in the weight room. It's not too much use to me now, I don't think, but perhaps it is still worth investigating. All right, and then what does this say? Kirk, per our last meeting, effective immediately, please suspend all security camera recordings. Live surveillance has been approved, but the Baron no longer wishes to have tape logs of activity on the estate. I know this might seem like a security risk, but I promise good reasoning is behind this seemingly unsound decision. And that's from Randolph Moore, who I think we can trust. Stop recording. And that was in February of 1987. Well, that's quite... Okay, February of 1987, February 10th, 1987, they stopped recording. Why would they do that? I thought it was going to be around the time that they knew that there was going to be an investigation, but it seems that that is not the case. How very odd. Okay, wait a minute, something is going on. So, I had mixed it up, but it appears it was in February. She never arrived home. This is from February of 1987. This is weird to me because Lieb said that, or it said that she had seen Lieb, right? Or one of the other guys working with Lieb in September of 87. Okay, but that does line up with the stopping the footage in February of 1987. So when she went missing, she was actually just hiding here on the estate. And she was, I think, in the outside bunker. Maybe she was there. So she goes missing, she's in hiding within the estate. So they stop filming stuff so they don't have her on film walking around the estate. But at some point, Lieb sees her. Now what's interesting to me is that they didn't seem all that surprised that she was there. So I'm guessing many of the staff did know that she was hiding there. But for some reason they felt like they had to get rid of her. And why? Because she saw one of them and they weren't supposed to be there. And then September 2nd, this goes down. Thieves in the royal capital of Fen Ares have broken into one of the crown's fabled closed exhibits. These lavish rooms have historically been reserved exclusively for the use of the aristocracy and high peerage, and access has never been granted to those outside noble circles, at least not until today, as local police and forensic experts have been spotted in virtually every corner of the museum grounds dredging for clues. The museum authorities said they were alerted in the middle of the night by reports of several masked intruders seen breaching the south wall and brandishing firearms. The intruders broke into the museum, subdued the royal guard, and disabled the security system. By the time the militia arrived on the scene, the burglars had simply vanished. Although an official registry of the lost jewels has not been publicly announced, among the treasured artifacts rumored to be stolen is the renowned ruby crown of Orinda Aries, the priceless crown jewel whose material worth pales in comparison to the historic value. If these rumors are true, the evidence may suggest that the theft was politically motivated. So I was thinking that she had something to do with this. I just don't understand. I'm so confused now. It's possible that maybe it's much more obvious than I'm making it, and I'm just mixing details because it's been a while since I played, right? But it just seems like... It just seems... Right? They said Mary in the email. I swear they did. And they were gonna have to dispose of her. Because she saw them here on the estate where she must have been in hiding because she was supposed to be missing at that point in time. This is all very bizarre. Alright, well, I wanted to look around this room again because, you know, they had mentioned an archive access, and that's what I really want, is archive access. So I was hoping maybe I could see some sort of clue in here as to possible archive access. I'm not seeing anything, so perhaps I'll get another clue from something else at another point in time. But there's gotta be some sort of archive password or archive access, and there's got to be some terminal that's going to give me archive access, because right now I only have there's the ones that, you know, ask for that one outside the Blackbridge asks for admin but not archive, and I want archive, and who could possibly have archive? I want it. All right, carrying on. Alright, we are at this shelter. Whoa! So, let us see something. Let us see if I can get some new emails to read. Oh, very exciting. Okay. These are from February. How exciting. Okay. Yes, and don't worry, this communication method is fully secure. I'm the only lab technician with in-network access and the only one who uses this terminal. I'm working to get you more supplies, but I'm not focusing on essentials, as I believe there's enough food in the shelter to last for the duration, though I think it'd be wise if you can do a quick inventory to confirm that. This has to be from Mary, right? In terms of the area, there's not nearly as much room here as I remembered from my youth. If it was just me, I wouldn't mind. But with 4 of us and the space we are going to need for planning, I don't expect this to be a sustainable situation for more than a week, a fortnight at best. So she was in there with 4 people. So she didn't disappear. She went into hiding with 3 others. fortnight at best. She was going to have to move eventually. I passed the message on, and your uncle says he may have an idea for a more long-term solution, but it's going to require some doing. I'm not sure exactly what he has in mind, but this morning when I looked at today's blueprints, I saw he had drafted the pump room, a floor plan I haven't seen used in a very, very long time. I have a feeling you all may be taking a boat ride shortly. Okay, right, so they went to room, oh, I guess they went to room 46. I might have known that at some point and then forgot. Very likely. Okay. And then what did she say? It's finally happening. We just got confirmation from our source that the Red Guard is coming tomorrow to begin their formal inquiry into the disappearance. At this point, it's going to be too risky for you to move until next week at the earliest. Just hang tight for now. Okay, yeah, that was also from him, right? So the other one, okay. That's crazy. That's crazy. And okay, because there is a note in here, if I remember correctly. Yes. Remain where you are for now. Given that the Red Guard is due tomorrow, we've agreed with your plan and have disabled remote access to the other terminals and have sealed the network mainframe. Regardless of the danger, I am still not willing to risk removing shelter from the draft pool while the three of you are down there. Our best bet is to sit tight and hope for a little bit of luck. Now, why does this say 3 and then she definitely said 4? You know, this picture is in a new clue. It is. This picture is. I swear I'm not going crazy. I swear it is. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to hover my mouse over things to see if it'll be something I can click after all. Like this vent. Alright, very interesting. Let me double check the email and make sure I didn't misunderstand that. And also, who sent that letter, right? Log into the network. Because if they were corresponding through email, then why would there also be the same thing that she was already told through the email in a letter form? Unless that was like, I don't know. I don't quite understand that. All right. If it was just me, I wouldn't mind, but with 4 of us, there's 4 of them. So why did somebody else say there were 3? Were there 3 or were there 4? Very interesting. I don't understand. So did this come from someone who only thought there were 3 people there? Okay, that is just something that I'm going to need to keep in mind from now on. How very, very strange. Okay. Oh wait, no, this is where I want to go. Okay. So, we're gonna buy this. Now it should be available in the library, but I did already pick a book today. Can I change it? I can. Let's go! I'm so excited! Yatta! Yay! Yes, I'm in here. Wait, I think I remember. Wait, didn't I read something? And they set up this room so they could practice the heist. I do remember that. Dearest children, the pieces are in place and all rigid cogs have been greased. However, if our ambitious plans are to succeed, we must strike this Tuesday. The routine changing of guard personnel on the first of each month means the opportunity we have created for ourselves will likely never be so opportune. If we wait Even 1 additional week, the window will be closed. On Tuesday, there will be 3 royal guards stationed at Learson Hall, 2 of which will be wearing black gloves in lieu of the traditional white. We would be wise to sacrifice almost everything to avoid the white-gloved guard striking only when he takes a recess. The 2 black-gloved guards have been instructed to bind, blind, and gag themselves. To spare us the precious extra minutes it would take your group to execute that task on their behalf. However, that also means that once we reach the exhibit, we will truly be on our own. May the black shores guide us. May the black skies shield us. May our fathers be proud of us. In arms, your faithful soldier, Pharaoh. Or maybe I made that up. But here's the thing that I'm thinking. Yes, it says like everything is like locked, right? And like I don't have a key card, right? But what oh, it's the coin that is beeping about. What I'm curious about is what would happen if I could get the laboratory experiment off. Because I think that I have actually done quite a lot of experimenting. Let's log into the network because I have the shelter drafted today. So I should be able to access that remotely. No issues. So we will try to do that and see if this yields anything good. Remote terminal access, view active terminals, the shelter, connecting to terminal. All right. Let's see what this radiation monitor is at, because I have done a bunch of experiments today. Oh. Emergency protocol initiated. All doors are unlocked. Not the antechamber though. Oh. Okay, well, I don't know if that does anything good for me or not. This should be unlocked now, right? Oh, it is. It is in fact unlocked. Ah. Man, I'm gonna run out of gems eventually. If I keep getting courtyards. But it does give me... I've almost filled up my whole house, which I think gives you an achievement of some sort. But yeah, of course, unlocking all the doors did not, however, unlock the antechamber or do anything with this. You know, for some reason I thought like an alarm would go off or something crazy. I suppose not, but that's okay. Wait a minute, I'm actually very close to getting one in every room of my house. Wait. Oh, well, I've eh? That's crazy. I wasn't even like trying to do that today. Ah, well, this is very exciting. I'm going to have, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have done it. For sure. Wow. Well, let's see what we get here. Let's see if we can get something cooler. Ah. The vault. I wish I had one more gem. Oh, they're killing me. They're really making me sad over here because I don't have enough gems to do all these things that I want to do. I mean, regardless, we're getting something cool, right? This is the end of the day, so I feel like I might as well use these, see if we can get, I don't know, something I've never gotten before. Not the utility closet. Let's just see. Welp. I guess into the billiard room we go. And a trophy awaits us. The Full House trophy. Yay! Yeah, I wish I could have viewed it in the trophy room. It would have been so cool if I could have drafted the trophy room, like, in here. Now this is gonna give me keys I don't even need. However, I feel like I should be more excited about this. I'm so sorry, you guys. My lack of enthusiasm. Yeah, successful triggers 9 of this experiment. That's so exciting. I've never gotten an experiment to go off so much. However, I have the lucky rabbit's foot and the coin purse, and I remember reading a note about trying that out. So let's go back to the workshop, which is all the way at the front. So, gym spare yard exhibit. All right, let's see what we could have gotten. Let's see. The lucky rabbit's foot and the coin purse. The lucky purse? It's the end of the day, so I'm not gonna be able to use it, but I'm still excited to have made it. Oh. And I got a trophy. What is this? For creating all 8 contraptions within the workshop. Oh, so I've seen them all now. How exciting. I've been getting all these trophies. Doubles all the money that you find. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can do something with this, because I was going to cut this out because it's a little bit embarrassing. But in this very first courtyard, I had the shovel. And I went like literally this entire day without digging anything in any of the rooms that I went into, because I thought that I didn't have a shovel. So we might be able to find some gold. And the reason that might be a nice thing to do is because I have the bookshop, so I might be able to buy an additional book. Ah! Would you look at that? Oh, I just realized that my screen actually covers. You guys can't even see like how much stuff I have. I should probably get rid of this. I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that's been covering through these last few playthroughs. I should get rid of that for this game in particular. I have exactly 51 coins. Don't look at how many gems I found. I don't want to think about it, and you're forgetting as well. But that means that we can definitely buy this book, which is wonderful news. And of course, we're renting out The Curse of Blackbridge first, but then we will get to read the first edition of the history of Orindia, and I know that there's going to be some juicy information in that, so I feel very happy. And with that, I don't think there's anything else that I could do today. Aha! So this is a book that I bought and have given to the library. The Curse of Blackbridge. Forward. The legend of Blackbridge isn't one that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm, for versions of this tale have been passed down from generation to generation. With each new telling, the story has changed, becoming over the years more colorful, more verbose, and, as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of confining and binding this tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, I have heard dozens of variations of the legend, and while the details would often change, I was surprised how much of the story's heart remained the same. Yet the more I listened, the clearer it became that there could never be a definitive version of this tale capable of capturing all of the wonder and myth of Blackbridge. In the end, I chose to write down what felt most authentic, the story my grandmother told me as a boy long ago. Part 1. The Berry Picker from Oris. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate to call their number the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws composed of society's worst in a time when society was at its worst, and for each crime that fearful travelers credited to the group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who often value their coffers more than their companions, no crime could measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise, high-road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jesper, who had not been lucky in life, having lost 2 brothers to war and parents to famine. In the years of hunger that followed, Jesper lived in a gutter behind a churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks of the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It is not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take an easy road out. An easy and well-traveled road, paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentry lands where loose purse strings entwine with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jesper to the end of his youth, a hidden cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. It was here that he met his surrogate family and saviors, the notorious gang of godless outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. Despite the hardened circumstances that had led him to this vocation of banditry, Jesper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such an ignoble life. For this reason, Jesper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of night's concealment. Jesper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he alone worked while the others slept soundly, tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. On one such occasion, Jesper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out into the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the mornings, but the headway dawn afforded meant Jesper could reach the furthermost berry patches without worrying of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way, Jesper had passed by many a familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have to dedicate several moments and earnest examination before finding a single one. Jesper was patient, but even his patience had its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to this long stretch of travel, his efforts would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches in this new grove surprised even Jesper. The red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled over out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jesper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jesper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in this task when the sound of thundering hoofs interrupted him. A carriage. A carriage is approaching. The thought of it made Jesper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept toward the impending sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment before the sound's source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jesper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around a corner of trees, led by 2 beautiful white horses, and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated atop the vehicle, flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jesper had ever seen. It was not just any carriage. It was a royal carriage, even without ever having witnessed such a sight before. Jesper was certain. The sight had so transfixed Jesper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effect that the noble steeds slid to a sudden halt with precise control. "You, boy, get out from behind that bush," he shouted with rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. "You startled me half to death, coming round the bend of my own drive and seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where he ought not to be." Jesper quickly contemplated running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries." Jesper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was a change that Jesper was familiar with. He had many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish bandits melt away when presented with a berry basket. Any suspicions that the driver might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of a member of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed farcical. The softened expression even made allowances for a smile. "Berries, eh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy." Jesper took his cue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket. "I know, and what luck I found them. I have only just begun picking, and look how many I have. It would have taken me 4-fold the time back home to procure this number." The driver bent down for a closer look. "And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far." Jesper replied with a scripted response. "A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt woods." "My God, that is far. You couldn't have come all that way only this morning." It was true. Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jesper had traveled. And while that response would seem perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Blackbridge Canyon, he could see why it might seem less believable here. "Sir, I have traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say there is no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a prize such as these. Surely you have tasted them for yourself." Jesper felt happier with this response, as it seemed to amplify the man's smile. "In my youth often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I never had to travel very far. And even then my father would always drive us here in our carriage. So I'm ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward." It was Jesper's time to smile. "Then let my efforts reward us both today." He raised the basket even higher. "A taste and memory of your youth, sir." The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. And the moment his fingers touched the first berry, the dagger in turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jesper caught the man's startled eyes. "And for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth." The driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jaw could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jesper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. "Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause, though I will admit, the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me." Unable to find a purse in the man's coat, Jesper pivoted to search the seat under him. "Why have you no purse on your person?" The driver slowly raised his hand cautiously, pointing towards the carriage door behind him. Jesper lowered the knife's edge a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did in turn softly. "There's a lockbox in the carriage." "Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands, a concession I assure you of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat." The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jesper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Excusing his inexperience, the man indulged Jesper while he figured out how to adequately bind him. The smile and kindness Jesper had seen on the man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion. "I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency you are showing me?" Jesper stopped, surprised by the question, but ignored it, secured the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door's handle, he turned back to the man. "If there is no lockbox, there will be no clemency." Inside, the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger had enjoyed passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jesper had suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a levered servant in the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage's back seat. A large, wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jesper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, 2 observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all 4 sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Orindian hands. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not open easily without a key. Jesper looked over to see the driver quietly observing him from his indentured position. "Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open this box?" Without emotion, the driver replied, "There is no key to that box." Jesper stood up. Easy enough, then. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted the stone up, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when that lock had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jesper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised how heavy it seemed given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile had once again returned. "You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed." Jesper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face. "What is it?" "That's one." Feeling his disappointment rising to anger now, Jesper tightened his grip on the effigy. "One what, you mumbling agentor? And in God's name, why have you no purse upon your person?" The man did not seem intimidated. "One pace." He paused for effect. 12 more, and you will be dead." He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there ever was a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. Jesper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses and had never doubted their validity in the past, but now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And if he was cursed, what difference would the knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy. If he did not move from where he now stood, he could live maybe another 3 or 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries, a plan that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do? To be discovered here, beside a body, stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries and raving about a curse that could very well not be real. No. It would most certainly be better to face one's fate now, take a dozen paces, and see if life goes on. But Jesper found his legs unable to make that first step. His mind was unable to convince his limb to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked about him for a solution. And if, by some stroke of luck, the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him as he found himself suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of gold trim were beside him, the answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated the short number of paces back to the road. 4, perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. He thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task too great to chance. And so, after profound breath, he took his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized that he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox, whose typical function oft secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of destitution, Jesper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand to let go. If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. And if I die, what care have I? And with this statement said aloud, to the horses, seemingly, Jesper took up the reins with confidence. Part 2. Below the Black Bridge. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have had the cheek to awaken her in such an ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in the darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, then stepped back into the dim. After taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on 3rd watch today. Quietly collecting her things and wits, Miller turned as she left, waving to her young friend, who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main passage, careful to not wake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly, she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows it held. She then walked toward the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, in one of the few trees found in the canyon, Miller could see that Ravia was already posted. She waved, and Ravia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Ravia lowered a braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw a pail of water resting beside a nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded, and secured the pail to the rope. The pail went up first, and in turn, Miller followed. Ravia reached across to grab the water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in this tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the pail up to her mouth dramatically, illustrating how thirsty she had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing onto Ravia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had the others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for the unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Ravia took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on third watch together for over a month, and during that speechless time, their friendship had grown into something special. Affection was unsurprisingly scarce among the unholy hounds. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy, never. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern as well as a clear view of the bridge that was spanned across the canyon. Blackbridge was the link between the Gentry lands and the northern mountains, the overpass that connected Orris and Reddington. To the city-faring travelers of the realm, the bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task was to ensure that the travelers passed by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure they do. Like most of her band, Miller preferred the night. The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern-housed bandit, it was a source of constant annoyance. In the day, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Ravia touched her elbow and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a budding smile, suddenly shook her head in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lay of words, but the two of them had developed an extended vocabulary, gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of their month among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat on the floorboards beneath them. Miller knew what she was trying, but shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away, looking back to the canyon. Squinting through the leaves, the two girls held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller, too, heard the sounds of approach. Ravia held up two bent fingers, and a few moments later, two men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform, long gray coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to the local patrol, the Black Guard. Although not an everyday occurrence, their presence at Blackbridge wasn't an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler's impending passage across the bridge, information that the girls would promptly relay to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years in the Unholy Hounds, she had never once seen a carriage taken in open daylight when the Black Guard was nearby. The men had nearly reached the bridge's north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravia's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other's expression. This did not sound like the typical carriage, cautiously approaching the bridge to cross. Instead of the familiar crunch of high road's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoofbeats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downwards, looking through the foliage. The sounds were not coming from the high road, but from the canyon itself. The horses were coming from below the bridge. In an instant, Miller had nocked an arrow and drawn her bow. Go. Ravia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank below, racing toward the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. The base had been compromised. This was a Black Guard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see a carriage. She had expected cavalry. Before she even finished processing that thought, her second arrow was in the air. Without a trail, it would be unthinkable for a carriage to traverse such rough terrain, yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight, and there would be no need for a fourth. The driver slumped over just moments before the vehicle dipped into a small ditch, slamming into an embankment. The force of this sudden halt immediately shattered the front two wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused now, Miller glanced over her shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down in the canyon, the entire horde of the unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth, as if hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller, half asleep and tripping over one another in a desperate attempt to engage an unseen enemy in combat. Miller could see Ravia among their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for a silent gesture to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang's chieftain, Joffrey Heartslasher, led the others, cautiously approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox near a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forward in customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage lay the far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him, a blood-stained effigy carved from stone. Miller was inconsolable. Jesper had always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to the hems of her every move, the way a child tails behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted, she had always called him, though deep down she had known that wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed a raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of this cave, but he still had thorns, honed by a grim past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness, in the back of one of the larger cavern rooms. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief that he had treasured. The mysterious effigy they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as somewhat special among the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even in whispers. There was nothing to say. Miller awoke the next day to a thunderous shaking and rattling of the earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the previous day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking sting of stirred-up dust caused her to flinch. Panic was in the air. The sounds of scurried footsteps and clattering feet filled the space around her, but even in alarm, the silence was louder. What was it that sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder, and intense voices could be heard ahead. Louder speech than she had ever heard spoken in the canyon. A growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave, her eyes now open wide despite the dust. Shouldn't it be day? Miller felt a hand in the darkness, pulling at her. It was Ravia. The two embraced, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed 2 bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. 2 bent fingers confirmed what Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. An hour or so later, the screams began. Blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Fodrick Lee of the Black Guard looked down from the ridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave. "Ah," he grinned. "Now they speak." Oh, wow, okay, that was long. I don't have a magnifying glass, so there might be some stuff that I cannot see. But sometimes you can kind of see it, so I'd like to get like an idea of if that's the case. But there's a few things that stick out to me. Hold on. I'm gonna grab my notes real quick. All right, because yeah, there's a few things in here that stood out to me. I mean, obviously these berries, I mean, this is Mount Holly. I mean, that just feels like it has to be related, right? So Blackbridge, they named the network after it, and he said, I hope it doesn't end up like that did. He thought it was a fitting name because it's in a cave. Obviously, this book clears that up. So, Holly berries from Blackbridge book? Question mark. And then I kind of want to write down these names because I'm not sure if they're going to come up at all. Jesper. And then the Unholy Hounds. I can't help but remember that one of the names for the people who were being very suspicious in those emails in the Blackbridge admin computer thing was HOUN, capital U, Unholy Hounds. So somebody's username was the Unholy Hounds, right? So I'm going to write down Unholy Hounds. Very, very interesting. Let's see. Because I know there was other things. I wanted to see... Oh, I've got to get a magnifying glass to look at these pictures because I bet there's stuff hidden in here that I can't see without it. Right? So let's look. Tanner Fork. Here we go. That was the other thing. So Tanner Fork, that was from a new clue. It said to keep left to Tanner Fork. Route 8, depart. Keep left to Tanner Fork. Right, dead end. Record each stop on the way. Is, I think, what we were supposed to get from a new clue. Route 8, depart. Keep left to Tanner Fork. Very interesting, Tanner Fork, this. I mean, one thing I have to keep in mind is that this game likes to give you a bit of piece of information here, a piece of information there, a piece of information from way over there. And it's like once you get all of them, you're kind of able to put it together. So if something doesn't immediately make sense, it's possible that I'm just not solving it, but it's also possible that I'm missing a key piece of information that I still need to be looking for. Similar to the admin key. Okay. But that is very interesting that that Tanner Fork was mentioned in this book. So I'm just going to make note of that as well. And then, gosh, I mean, the lockbox is throwing me off too. A lockbox. Have we seen something like this in the tomb? Perhaps? I really want to get a magnifying glass on this so bad. Hopefully I can find one today and come back and look at it. So I guess he killed him, did he? And stole the carriage. And then the other girls were Miller and Ravia. And then I also wanted to note the name. Okay, so they marked, right? They marked his grave with... that's really making me think that maybe I can also find it. Something within the tombstone, or in the tomb, maybe. And they marked his grave with it. Captain Fodrick Lee. And now they're... Ah, man. Ah, he grinned. Now they speak. That line kind of goes hard, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, caving in and killing a whole bunch of people that way is like... really bad. But that line does go kind of hard. Wow, okay. Well, nothing stands out to me immediately as far as needing a magnifying glass to look at it, but it doesn't always. So I definitely want to go back and do so. So that is the story of Blackbridge. The Blackbridge Protocol. All right, wow, that's crazy. All right, I just lost half my steps, but I have reason to believe. Oh, look, you can get power in here. I have reason to believe that there is a lever in here now. But now I'm wondering if you need power in the room. I need to get the boiler room going and draft this connected to it. Is that what I need to do, huh? I'm starting to think that's the case. Now, where would the lever be? Otherwise, yeah, why would this be a room that has power go through it? It doesn't immediately seem like it would be. I can't help but notice there's also brick in here. And I know that if you get that one tool, there may be some brick walls you can knock down. I don't necessarily want to pixel hunt. I would, but I don't want to because I see that you can get power in this room and it just feels like it makes way more sense that it's gonna work when you have power in it, if that's the case, you know? Alright, we need to look for... Right, we need to look for... I can't remember, capitalized or uncapitalized letter. Journey... Noteworthy. Oh, it's a whole world. Or a whole word. Beside. Beside. Uncapitalized. Alright, keep that in mind. Alright, which is the word here? Bridget. No, bridge. TTE is capitalized. So, so from the pantry, the word is bridge. Beside the bridge? Oh, it's gonna be, it's always, you always need the freaking, you always need the shovel. Man, it's so hard to get the shovel. Oh, here's a classroom. I finally have never made it to this classroom before. History is penned by the victors. Yes, I'm getting the impression that the red means colonizers and basically, I guess I don't know that for sure. They did something bad and repressed a certain people, took their land, something like that. All right. Okay, let's walk around here. And then let's first look at what this says. History worksheet, a multiple choice. Who was the first crowned ruler of Finn Ares? Ah. Which city in Finn Ares is named after a historical figure? How many sons did the fourth king of Orindia have? 60 and 6. How long did the War of the Fifth Era last? Which realm did not ally with Finn Ares during the war? What flag was forbidden to be flown at full staff after the war? Didn't Alzar say something about a black flag at some point? Or was it a red flag that just wasn't blowing in the wind? Okay, let's see if we can get some ideas from here. 4 out of 6 are correct here. So you can figure out what the right answers are. But is it gonna matter? So 2 of these are wrong. They said B, C, D. C, B, C. And 2 are wrong. Ah, 2 are wrong here as well. Another 2. And their answers are C, B, A, D, B, C. Oh my gosh, everybody missed 2 of them. Okay, B, C, A, C, A, C. And then there's one over here that's probably going to be like an F. Okay, only 3 are... Or sorry, only... So 3 are wrong in this one. Okay. A, B, A, B, A, and C. So let's see if I can get any information from this. Okay. So we gotta figure out which 2... Everybody put the black flag. So I'm guessing that this one is correct. Which realm did not ally with Finn Ares during the war? Looks like we've got 2 B's and 2 A's. How long did the War of the Fifth Era last? We've got C, D, C, and B. Oh my gosh. I might be able to kind of figure out what sounds right. Because 2 sounds right for the amount of sons that the king of Orindia have. Because I feel like I remember there being like a daughter and 2 sons, right? That seems like it's ringing a bell with like something else that I read. So I think the answer to 3 is A. And a lot of people put that down. Everybody but the very first one we looked at. Who was the first crowned ruler of Finn Ares? Prince Learson, General Teskin, Desolates the Fourth. We have B, C, B, A. I don't know about that one. Okay, which city in Finn Ares is named after a historical figure? I don't think it's Reddington. Oris sounds right, actually. Finn seems like it's some sort of... I don't know. I guess because you have Finn Ares and Arch Ares, it sounds less like a name to me. Oris feels right. And 2 people did answer that. That would mean, if that was the case, if I'm saying that number 2 is B and number 3 is A, then the first test that we looked at, that would be the 2 that they got wrong, which means that the correct answers would be B, B, A, C, B, C. And let's see if that made sense. So that makes sense for the first one we looked at. For the second one we looked at, that means they would have gotten this one wrong and this one wrong. 2 wrong. That's perfect. For the third one, they would have gotten this one right, this one wrong, this one right, this one right, this one wrong, and this one right. That's 2. That's perfect. So for this one that we're looking at right now, that would mean the first one is wrong, second one is right, third one is right, fourth one is wrong, and fifth one is wrong. So yes, I was correct. The correct answers are B, B, A, C, B, and C. So it is General Teskin. Wow, he was the first, huh? I believe so, at least. I think it was General Teskin, Oris, 2 sons, 12 years. No, wait, 22 years. That sounds right too, doesn't it? 22 years. A Raja, which we've heard a lot about that, haven't we? And the Black Flag. Okay, I've took note of it. I don't know if it will matter, but I have taken note of it. Can I touch this at all? Oh, next slide. Whoa, this is crazy. So this must be in the war. So it was which side didn't align with them, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was. It doesn't necessarily mean this is Araja. It could just be that Araja didn't align with Finn Aries in this war. But yeah, here we see red flag versus black flag here. It does make you wonder where the blue comes in, though. So red wins, you can see them celebrating. They're throwing their hats up in the air. Okay. Getting a good look at everything. Oh, this is so exciting. I really want to get to all the classrooms. Okay, and this is General Teskin, I guess. Makes sense because he's like a night king on his red throne. Just trying to see if anything else stands out to me. Are they destroying this or building it? Looks like perhaps they're destroying a road, so maybe they're not letting people captured return to their homeland, or they're cutting off borders or something like that. That would make sense kind of with our mom having to because it did seem like she was gonna leave and then try to come back, but that it was going to be difficult, that wasn't necessarily an easy task to get in and out. Oh boy, there's a lot to look at in this. Holy moly. Wow. Well, here's your red guard. Is this the statue in the cloister? Rina? I think maybe? I could be wrong. I don't remember all the statues' names, though they do all have them, so perhaps I should have paid better attention. We've got the fireworks, red, yellow, and green, and then this blimp thing. Very crazy looking. Okay. music's going hard right now. Ah, okay, that's all of them. Lore, lore, lore. So much lore. And I have not forgotten that the 8 in this series is sideways. This is grade 6. Ah, I would really like to get to grade 10 if I can. It's so hard because they always cost a gem. Like, I'm already out of gems. But let's see what we can get, what we can make happen. Oh my gosh, I got to another... I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it because I was messing up things. Okay. This is the highest grade I've ever gotten to. Algebra worksheet, advanced functions. Oh god, are we gonna start seeing this? I think I have seen those symbols before and I don't quite remember what they meant. Oh my gosh, the math's about to get crazy, isn't it? Oh no. I've seen this little symbol in the center before. Oh god. Let's see someone who did well. D plus, oh god. C. Is C plus the best we got? They don't even tell you which 9 they got correct. Okay, I think this is what I had thought beforehand, right? Was that it was, oh, I guess the colors are gonna matter here. Right? So, well, and also let me look over here, because maybe that makes it a little more clear. Because I thought, oh no, wait, this is what I wanted to look at. Okay, but yeah, I did think it was the square meant like, well, that actually makes sense, squared. So that's why this is 9. And this is yellow, so it's -5, which is 4, so that one's correct. This is 7 minus 5 squared. So, well, that would have to be wrong, because that would be a crazy number, right? Unless I'm not quite understanding this. Okay. So this would be 3 minus 2 squared. So that doesn't make sense either. So maybe I'm not quite understanding. Oh, wait, oh, I forgot. This pink. What does the pink mean? Multiply. But that would be 3 times 4, right? If it was just the 2 squared. So that doesn't make sense, right? So this would be 4 times 2. I must not. Am I getting that wrong? Yeah, 1 squared is 2. 2 squared is 4. Yeah, and 4 times 2 does... Oh no, this is... Yeah, pink is multiply, right? Oh my god, I kind of forget. I don't have any clue what this means. What is it? What does this mean? It makes sense to me now that it should mean squared, right? But then we get over here. I mean, I have to remember that there's some that Zach got wrong. I just don't know which ones he got wrong. It's kind of late while I'm doing this, to be honest. I just don't feel like doing math. So I might just look back upon this video at another time and see if I can figure it out then. Oh, wait, I should probably look at all of them. Remember, don't square till you're there. Oh, wait, so let's go back. Don't square till you're there. Hold on. So this would be 3 minus 5, which would be -2 squared 4. Okay, so this would be 7 minus 5. 4. Okay. Okay, so, okay, these are, okay, I understand now, 3 times 2, 6, 36. I see they were gonna, I was being very impatient, wasn't I? Okay, but that's interesting because we square both of these. Don't square till you're there. I guess. Huh. Well, let's just think. I mean, it can't be multiply these and then do it. It just doesn't work. So maybe this one's wrong though. Let's look at this one. So I would guess you would do these separately. So this would be 5 times 4, right? And then this would be what? This is crazy. Yellow is minus, right? I mean, this would be a crazy number then. I mean, that's -90, and then you square it. I mean, that's just an insane number. No idea. Don't square till you're there. So is the answer then to... Wait, how did I do this one again? I did 4... Oh, I didn't figure out that one. Okay, so this one, don't square till you're there. So do you do the whole thing? But that doesn't make sense either. That doesn't make sense because 2 times 1 is 2, then you square it. Do you have to square it twice? 2 squared. 4 squared? Oh, you do it twice. I think that's what you do. You do it twice since there were 2 squares in it. Okay, so then how does that apply to this one? Because this one's crazy. So you do 5. You're going to multiply that by 2 for a 10. And then... I guess I don't know... So then you plus 5 for 15. And you minus 95. 80. And then you square that. And then you square it again. That would be just an insane number. That's an insane number. I've got to be doing that wrong. Let me see. But yeah, wait, let me make sure there's not any other notes anywhere on these to help me out. Did everybody get that one wrong? I wonder. Yeah, what does the diamond mean? How much do I care? I mean, I definitely care, and I definitely want to figure it out. Because I'm guessing when you get to the end of these classrooms, I just have like I just have a haunting suspicion that I'm going to get quizzed. And that's why I've had to be like cross-checking and like figuring out the answers to everything, right? leave it to Mount Holly to make simple algebra stupid hard. But you know what? I've looked at all of them. I can look upon it later and try to figure it out. It's late for me right now, so I'm a little tired. I don't feel like banging my head against the wall. Especially considering it's not a crunch time. I drafted the last classroom and I have to take a quiz. Oh, we're gonna start crunching. We gonna start crunching. So I think this was the corner notes things was telling me to dig somewhere by the bridge. I'm getting really savvy to this game's tricks. Oh! A microchip buried in an ultra. Holy crap, wait. Really? What? No way. I think that's the last one. Oh my gosh. Wow, I didn't expect to be able to get so much done so quickly after returning to this game. I really thought I was gonna struggle a lot more, and I think that's part of why I was hesitating to pick the game up again. I'm pleasantly surprised that I've made some progress. Let's go. Oh my gosh, wait, what's happening? I'm so excited. Cloak, castle, court. Oh. Oh god. It's code, isn't it? But I don't know how to do binary code. Maybe it's a unique code to this that will help me figure it out. Oh my gosh, okay. This one that used to be broken is on now. Oh no, I'm lying too. It's this one, and it's still broken. It's still not on. Okay, wait, I was lying. I was being a liar. Oh god, okay. And it was showing me castle, court. Oh, whoa, this is not what I expected. What is this? What is this? What is this? Oh! Oh, look, it's Reddington. I am the Baron of Reddington now. I do believe. Oh, it's a blueprint. The throne room. You found a secret floor plan. Would you like to permanently add the throne room to your drafting pool? That's a black room. I've wondered what the black rooms were. Yes. Starting tomorrow, the throne room will be permanently added to your drafting pool. Let's go! Yeah, because when I go here, I have the banner of the king, and one of my options are black rooms. But I didn't really know what that meant, because, you know, if you go to room directory, there are not black rooms. Oh, wait, tomb is a black room. Oh, maybe there are black rooms. I've just been very silly. So where does throne room show up? It's not even in the directory, huh? Still rooms I haven't found. Yeah? is it then? I'm so sleepy. Okay, well, I guess it's a little secret room. Well, that was awesome. This is crazy cool. And I wonder if there's something I can learn from here. Or if it is just flavor text that I can see Reddington right there. Wow. This is so stinking cool. I don't know what I expected to dig up, but it wasn't that. And to be honest, I didn't even look at all the clues. I just saw like by the bridge. What did I see? Beside bridge. I was like, I know what this game wants me to do. I've played this game long enough now. I know what this game wants from me. But I still have to figure out, yeah, I gotta get this on somehow. And clearly, yeah, there's some sort of code here. Oh boy. I think this is a message in the lights, obviously. But you know what? We're not gonna be able to solve it until I get this one up online anyways, right? So I don't have to worry about it yet. I don't know. I just don't want to do it. Maybe I'm just really tired right now. But yeah, that was very exciting. And that was this next Let's Play of Blueprint. I hope you had a wonderful time watching it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And maybe I'll see you again at Mount Holly someday. But for now, it's bittersweet how I must say farewell. Give glory to the runes, for my love and affection is forever with you.